Everything's a mess.
Why can't I get it to work?
We're going to do something different today.
Everything I tried this week either just didn't work or just wasn't going my way. Which this kind of leads me to why I make what I want and I don't really worry about what others think about it. Later on in this video, I have a challenge for you. This week we're doing things a little different. We're going to be talking about Feely's house. Most of these things are made out of cardboard, obviously crochet, and felt, and paint, and just whatever else I had. I made this out of a little pine branch and wrapped twine around it. His little chair I did not make, but I found it at a thrift shop. I know for so many of us creatives and artists, we get caught up in what's trending and trying to figure out what to make, or we compare our work to others, and that can be all very stressful. And I've been there, done that before, and it's kind of one reason why I've stepped back and just started making what I wanted. This is Feely's flute, and I had made that out of manila folders and popsicle sticks. And as you will see, a lot of my things are not perfect, and that's okay for me. I'm just enjoying the process. And this is Feely's little treasure box where his poems and songs go. I obviously didn't make these glass jars. I got them at Everything's a Dollar, I think. For this, I just used regular craft felt and some moss to make it look like a tree. I just dressed it up too to make it look like a tree table. Now, don't laugh at me. I'm not really good at drawing at all. I can draw squares and rectangles, so that's why I showed you this process. And obviously, this is going to be something for Feely's house. Instead of throwing this in the trash, I thought I can repurpose this and give it a good use. If you're out there and you're caught up and you're worried about how your work compares to somebody else, or say for instance you've lost your creative mojo, I want to give you a challenge. I want you to think back of when you very first started creating, and what was your grown up artist ideas. And I'm not just saying like you were a kid and then you started doing art, but I'm just saying like when I grow up, what was it that you truly wanted to create? And I want you to think about that and then ask yourself, why aren't you doing it? What do you have to lose? I know we all have excuses in life and things like that, but really, what do you have to lose? So get your noodle cooking and think about those things. Think about all the possibilities there could be and just try it. Just go for it, because it really is time just to go for it. This is just some regular PVA on all my wonderful popsicle sticks. I can never have enough popsicle sticks. Popsicle sticks are a very important thing to have in your toolbox. Yes. And as you can see, once again, as I've mentioned before in other videos, precision is not my thing. I just don't do it. Once upon a time, before I started creating Feely's World, I really was having a hard time creating, and I just didn't like a lot of the things that I was making anymore. I mean, some things, yeah, sure. But you see, I've always been inspired by people like Brian and Wendy and Toby Frode and Tolkien, and I see their worlds, and I wanted to make a world for my felted art dolls. I know in this channel we haven't done a lot of felting yet, but that's just not what I'm all about anymore. I'm not just a needle felter, and especially if I want to make their world, which they will probably be needle felted, because that's usually what I use is needle felting when I make my art dolls. So yes, there will be tons of needle felting to come, but lots of other things such as this. And like I mentioned in me challenging you to think of the one thing that you always wanted to do, this is the one thing I always wanted to do. To make a world for my felted art dolls. I know it sounds silly and maybe even a little crazy, but like I mentioned earlier, I don't care. I'm enjoying myself again. I'm making things, and I think that's what's most important. And especially if you are having the same problems as well, where you just don't have the motivation to create anymore and you've kind of lost that spark, then either do the things that you always wanted to do, or just turn it upside down and do something totally different. And don't be afraid. As you can see, I'm out here doing this and showing everybody. So just go do it. Do it. Get creating again. This thing is just as wonky as it wants to be. Now, would this ever be something that I would sell to somebody? No. But like I said, I'm making it for myself and for Feely, for goodness sakes. I mean, if anything, I'll just blame it on him. He made it. Or he made me do it. I really want you to enjoy just making things again and feeling that peace and just the quiet sometimes that it brings to your mind. For those that have been watching and following along, I appreciate you so much. You may have noticed I like to distress a lot of things. I like to make them look shabby and, well, I kind of like them, like I always say, wonky. I like them wonky. But yeah, I like them to look weathered and beaten up. I guess another word would be aged, antiqued, old. What's your favorite little touch that you like to add to all your projects? I hope with my fabulous drawing that you were able to tell what this was or what it was going to be. You're fixing to find out. I had to make sure that it was still fit. Ah, looky there. It's going to be a light of some sort. Maybe a lantern. Who knows? I don't think Feely will have enough lights in his little home. There'll probably be way more others that I will add in some form or fashion, whether another lantern or maybe a lamp of some sort. I absolutely want to hear from each and every single one of you. Any thoughts or feelings or things that you might want to see in the future. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd really appreciate that, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on any fun. But most importantly, I hope somebody out there watching this video has decided to either start creating again, begin creating, or maybe just to do that one thing you've always wanted to do.